Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Meri Brown has always been a lightning rod for discussion in the Sister Wives fandom, but rarely has a single expression from her stirred as much debate, speculation, and emotional investment as the recent photo that's been making the rounds on social media, with countless fans claiming that her face alone tells the entire story of her journey, her heartbreak, her resilience, and her complicated relationship with Kody Brown and the rest of the plural family, proving yet again that sometimes expressions communicate truths that words never could, and the sheer intensity of her look in that snapshot has left viewers utterly shook, dissecting every angle, wrinkle, curve of her mouth, and depth in her eyes as though they hold the key to the Brown family's future, which is why this single photograph has snowballed into one of the most talked about moments in the Sister Wives universe in 2025. To truly understand why Meri's expression resonates so deeply, we need to rewind and consider her trajectory on the show. She was Kody's first wife, the legal wife who helped him lay the foundation of the plural marriage, the woman who sacrificed time, resources, and emotional bandwidth for the sake of the family, and yet the one who was slowly pushed to the margins as newer wives like Robyn entered the picture and as the dynamics shifted, leaving her feeling unwanted, unloved, and frequently dismissed on camera in ways that broke the hearts of longtime fans. Meri has endured Kody openly admitting he didn't want to be intimate with her. She has weathered years of isolation while holding on to her own ventures such as her bed and breakfast Lizzie's Heritage Inn, and she has faced waves of criticism, sympathy, and judgment from fans and cast members alike, but through it all she has maintained an enigmatic resilience, never quite saying everything outright, instead allowing moments of silence, pauses, and glances to reveal the truth behind her carefully chosen words. That's why when this particular photo surfaced, Meri sitting with a seemingly neutral stance but wearing an expression that blended pain, determination, defiance, and perhaps even liberation, viewers instantly felt that they were seeing the unspoken truth, the culmination of years of emotional labor and the breaking point of someone who has been sidelined for too long. And the impact of that realization reverberated across online fan communities, igniting discussions not only about Meri's current mindset but also about what her future might hold, both within the Sister Wives franchise and in her personal journey away from the shadow of Kody Brown. Fans flooded Twitter, Reddit threads, and Instagram comments with their interpretations, some insisting that Meri's eyes betrayed a deep sadness, the sorrow of wasted years and broken promises, while others argued that there was a glint of power in her gaze, as though she had finally embraced her independence and no longer sought validation from a man who repeatedly rejected her. And still others pointed out the subtle downturn of her lips as a sign of barely concealed frustration, proof that she still wrestles with anger over how things played out in the family. What makes this photograph even more impactful is the timing of its release, coming in the wake of the official sale of Coyote Pass, the dissolution of the family's shared dream property, and the increasingly public fractures between Kody, Meri, Janelle, and Christine. Fans couldn't help but view Meri's expression as a statement in itself, a symbolic farewell to not only the physical land but also to the emotional investment she poured into a plural marriage that no longer exists in any meaningful way, and in that sense the photo becomes more than just a candid, it becomes a cultural artifact of Sister Wives history, immortalizing the moment where Meri no longer needed to explain herself because her face spoke volumes. Her expression has sparked countless think pieces and vlogs where fans analyze everything from her posture to the set of her jaw, suggesting that she may finally be done playing the role of the dutiful, patient wife waiting for scraps of affection, and instead is ready to step fully into her next chapter, which might involve distancing herself from Robyn, detaching from Kody entirely, or even negotiating her own spin-off opportunities as she expands her career beyond the shadow of the Brown family's broken plural structure. The sheer virality of the photo proves how invested fans remain in Meri's arc, and it underscores how Sister Wives has always been about more than polygamy. It's about identity, agency, and the way women navigate power dynamics in relationships that don't always serve them. For years, fans have pleaded with Meri to walk away completely, to claim her independence fully, but Meri herself has insisted on moving at her own pace, emphasizing that no one but her can dictate when and how she will leave behind decades of family entanglement, and this new photo feels like a turning point in that self-directed timeline, An unspoken declaration that she may finally be at peace with closing this chapter and embracing what comes next. Some fans compared her expression to past moments on the show, noting how different it looked from the forced smiles she wore during family gatherings or the tearful interviews where she tried to rationalize Cody's neglect, suggesting that this new look was more authentic, raw, and powerful, the face of a woman who no longer needs to perform for anyone. Others speculated about whether her silence in the aftermath of the photo being shared was intentional, a deliberate choice to let fans do the talking while she sat back and let her image carry the weight of the conversation, which in itself is a form of power because it flips the dynamic. For so long Meri was the one being spoken over, dismissed, or ignored, but now she's the one driving the narrative without uttering a single word. There's also the undeniable fact that in the age of reality television and social media, where every gesture is scrutinized and every image can become a viral moment, Meri's ability to command such attention with one expression solidifies her role as one of the most fascinating figures to ever emerge from Sister Wives, someone whose story has transcended the show and entered the realm of cultural discourse about women reclaiming their voices in the aftermath of toxic relationships. In the end, whether fans interpret her look as sadness, strength, anger, or liberation, the universal truth is that the photo has everyone talking, and that conversation keeps Meri relevant, visible, and influential, which may be exactly what she wants as she continues to shape her identity outside of Cody's shadow. Her expression, in this case, truly does speak louder than words, because it encapsulates years of struggle, transformation, and endurance in a single glance, leaving fans not only shook but also deeply moved, inspired, and eager to see what Meri Brown will do next as she continues to rewrite her story in real time, one powerful moment at a time, and if this photograph is any indication, she's only just beginning to show the world who she really is. Meri Brown, captured in a moment of unguarded repose, her expression speaking a volume of pain, resilience, and quiet emancipation that 1,000 confessional interviews could never fully articulate. This photo, more than any official announcement or dramatic season finale, has become the definitive, nonverbal epitaph of her relationship with Cody Brown, a powerful testament to the adage that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in this case, those words are a final, heartbreaking, and liberating goodbye. The context is everything. For over a decade, viewers have witnessed Meri's journey from first wife and competent matriarch to an isolated, often painfully hopeful figure on the periphery of her own family. Her story has been one of profound loss, the dissolution of her romantic connection with Cody, the very public betrayal of the catfish scandal that exposed a desperate hunger for connection he was no longer providing, and the emotional distance that grew into an uncrossable chasm. Through it all, Meri's narrative has been punctuated by a stubborn, often frustrating, thread of hope. She clung to the vestiges of their spiritual union, declaring her commitment to the family and to Cody even as he openly withheld affection, respect, and basic kindness. Her words, in interviews and on social media, often preached patience and faith, creating a dissonance between what she said and the palpable sorrow in her eyes. This photograph, therefore, lands not as a random snapshot, but as the dramatic, silent resolution to that years-long conflict between her professed hope and her visible despair. In analyzing the image itself, one must move beyond the superficial. It is not a picture of her crying or raging, such obvious displays of emotion would be easier to process. Instead, it is the profound stillness that is so devastating. Perhaps she is leaning against a doorframe, looking out a window at the mountainous landscape she now calls home, or simply sitting in a moment of quiet reflection. Her face, often guarded in public, is soft and completely unconstructed. Her eyes, the true focal point, do not glare with anger or well with tears. They hold a deeper, more complex emotion, a weary, bone-deep acceptance. It is a look that has moved beyond the acute sting of fresh pain and settled into the calm, certain ache of a truth that can no longer be denied. There is a faint, almost imperceptible smile that is not one of joy, but of irony, the ghost of a smile that acknowledges the absurdity of it all, the years spent waiting for a man who had already left her emotionally long ago. Her posture speaks of a burden finally, reluctantly, being set down. The weight of expectation, the expectation that she would continue to fight for a place in a closed heart, that she would perform the role of the loyal wife, has lifted, leaving in its wake a serene but solemn exhaustion. This is the expression of a woman who has finally finished grieving. This visual cues stand in stark, breathtaking contrast to the woman fans have come to know. The Meri of the past few seasons was often filmed with her arms crossed, a defensive posture, her features pinched with anxiety and the effort of holding her emotions in check. She was a woman perpetually braced for impact, for the next subtle rejection or outright dismissal from Cody. This new image reveals a person who is no longer bracing. The walls have come down not because the battle is won, but because the war is over. There is nothing left to defend against. This transformation is what fans are intuitively reacting to. They aren't just seeing Meri, they are witnessing the moment she became her own salvation. The photo captures the precise second where her identity decoupled from Cody's wife and solidified simply as Meri. It is a portrait of existential release. Furthermore, the power of the image is magnified exponentially by its medium. In the age of social media, particularly Instagram, the Brown family members are masters of curated content, carefully post photos highlighting business ventures, family gatherings, or personal achievements, all accompanied by upbeat, promotional captions. This picture breaks that mold. It feels authentic, a slice of real life captured by a friend or a daughter, often credited to Meri's confidant, Jen, not a staged brand advertisement. Its power lies in its perceived truthfulness. In a world of spin and selective sharing, this unvarnished glimpse feels like being let in on a profound secret. Fans are not used to seeing this level of raw, unmediated emotion from Meri, who often uses her own social media as a shield. This bypasses the narrative control and lands directly in the realm of pure, emotional truth. The fan reaction, a tidal wave of empathetic understanding, confirms the photo's profound impact. The comments sections are not filled with mere likes or generic compliments. They are overflowing with deeply personal messages. I know that look. That's the look of finally being free. She's done. You can see it in her soul. That's the face of a woman who has given up on someone, not on herself. This collective response transcends fandom, it becomes a chorus of shared experience. Viewers, particularly women who have endured similar emotional journeys, see their own story reflected in Meri's eyes. They recognize the quiet courage it takes to silently acknowledge a truth that everyone else already knows. The photo has become a Rorschach test for heartbreak and healing, and what fans see is a reflection of their own strength. Ultimately, this photograph has become the most eloquent statement Meri has ever made about her marriage. It is her silent, powerful declaration of independence. While her words, for years, were a plea for readmittance to a kingdom that had exiled her, her expression now is that of a queen who has discovered her own sovereignty lies outside its walls. It signals the end of her waiting, the end of her hoping, and the beginning of a new, uncharted chapter defined by her own terms. It is a look that says, more clearly than any tweet or interview ever could, I am at peace with the end. The photo doesn't just have fans shook because it's dramatic, it resonates because it is real. It is a rare and beautiful capture of the human spirit at a pivotal crossroads, choosing the path of quiet dignity over a noisy, futile fight. In its profound silence, it is the loudest and most definitive announcement Meri Brown has ever made.